Hey, have you guys ever wondered how to design characters from your favorite video games or movies? Well, in this video I'm going to be drawing and designing a character from the fan favorite Star Wars universe, so stay tuned and learn how to design some fan art. Hey, welcome back guys, it's TJ over here at Clifford Studio bringing you another character design. If this is your first time and you're looking to learn more about digital illustration and concept art to help improve your own skills, then you'll want to make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that little notification bell to receive live updates for when I post new videos. Alright, with all that out of the way, today I want to let you guys know that I have a Star Wars character design for you based off the newly anticipated and released movie, The Last Jedi. Now I recently just saw this movie earlier today actually from recording this, and I have to say I couldn't have asked for a better movie to carry on the Star Wars universe. For those of you that haven't seen it yet, or even anyone who isn't really sure about the Star Wars universe, or maybe you've seen parts of movies but you haven't seen the full thing, I would highly suggest this movie. Just from a pure storytelling aspect, I absolutely love this movie. Yes, I feel that it had a lot of similarity to The Empire Strikes Back, which from the previous movie, The Force Awakens, a lot of people didn't like on how similar it was to A New Hope. But man, they really give it its own style towards the end of the movie and the overall theme. Not to mention, from a concept art standpoint, all the new creatures and animals that were introduced were just amazing. The Star Wars universe has always created some pretty incredible creatures and species, but I really feel like they outdid themselves this time. Alright, now since I didn't just want this to be a pure review of The Last Jedi, since there are tons of those on YouTube, let's jump into the character design itself. Something I've always loved about the clothing design throughout the Star Wars universe, especially in the era of the Jedi, is the extremely oversized cloaks. I've always loved the large hoods and the way they drape over the shoulder blades and then sag on the upper back and shoulder blades. Now when deciding how to create this character, with the main protagonist of the new trilogy being Rey, I wanted to design a female character, which besides with the new cartoons, you don't really see too many female protagonists in the world of Star Wars. And of course, with this character design, I know that the Jedi are supposed to be depicted as this ancient monastic organization, but I really wanted to give her this rebellious personality with almost this old school Lara Croft vibe from the Tomb Raider series. And in her alternate outfits that you'll be able to see on the right side, I played around with a few different clothing designs, specifically following the drapery found from Indian culture. I really liked the one-sided gown going down her left side, and in the alternate character designs, I really liked the idea of the mask as well, while being able to pair it with even a sleeveless vest design, still incorporating that oversized hood that I love so much. So one of the colors that I really wanted to incorporate as a bright and distinct accent color to the typical brown that you'll see in the Jedi wardrobe was purple. At first, I tried to give her purple skin as a way to differentiate her from normal. However, I didn't really feel as though this is working so well, and I scrapped that idea altogether. However, I did use it along the side of her and for her lightsaber. Speaking of her lightsaber, again, the idea was to be different and not use the typical green, blue, and red lightsaber. However, for those of you who are fans and have seen the prequels, will know that Samuel L. Jackson, or better known as Mace Windu, had the original purple lightsaber. I always really enjoyed his character growing up as a kid, and while I know that the prequels weren't very well received from the general public, who were the original Star Wars fans, I really always did enjoy the idea of having a purple lightsaber, or something that really just differentiated you from the norm. So something that I'd like to mention in taking a break from the character design itself, a tip that I'd really like to give at this point, similarly to what I've stated in my past videos, make sure to have your color swatches on hand and next to you while you work. It really does make it easier and more convenient for you when you're painting. Additionally, while I painted this, I made sure to keep focus on her face and torso by creating higher contrast with brighter and darker colors and using less detail while keeping the saturation low as I move towards her legs. One thing that you'll see as well is that I had a real hard time rendering her. First off, I had her shadows and highlights way too fuzzy and soft. They really didn't stand out together, and there was no real definition or defined edges where the highlights were casted. My first order of business was to fix this and really make it stand out to display where the light was coming from and create a sense of dynamic lighting throughout the piece. This really helps your artwork stand out and really intrigue the viewer to keep looking at your work. Another section some of you may have noticed is that I really wasn't happy with how I rendered her face. Now after I squinted her eyes just a bit, making sure the proportions to the size of her head were correct, I spent a lot of time blending and reshaping her facial features. Now, the main problem with character design is that when you render their clothing, armor, body, weapons, etc. perfectly, but you mess up on their face, which normally is the most important attribute of the character, it can really ruin your entire piece. So the reason I say that is if you're someone who struggles with faces, just like myself at times, I would really spend some time studying and practicing anatomy, similarly to my last video where I kind of made a guide for how to draw hands. To that point, illustrating and drawing hands and faces can really be the most difficult and crucial part to drawing when working with character designs and or portraits. Now when rendering, and I want to touch back on dynamic lighting here, I needed to add more shadows to her right side. Now a great way to do this is by using the layer blending option within Photoshop called multiply. And by setting the layer mode to multiply, it allows me to shade and darken the values by only selecting one color. This is a great digital tip, and pairing it with something like a clipping mask, which won't let you paint outside of the layer or group folder below it, is extremely useful. I use this trick constantly. However, I should mention and warn you that when you use it, you need to use it in moderation because it can really be overused, and once you overdo it, it's really noticeable and really distracts from your piece altogether. So as we're coming to the end of this video, I really like the way this turned out. And one last note on her lightsaber itself that you can see on the right side is you can see I gave it that curved handle. One thing that I really liked about episode 2 with Count Dooku is I loved how his handle on his lightsaber curved, and I really wanted to implement this into this character design. Now if you enjoyed this video, please don't leave without leaving a like, and if you want to see more videos like this and fun character designs and redesigns, please be sure to subscribe to stay up to date for my future videos. And if you could, please leave a comment down below on if you saw this movie or not, how you liked it, and maybe what other characters you'd love to see me do redesigns for. I love watching movies, I love playing video games, so anything you guys want to see, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to do them in future videos. Now, if you guys want to stay up to date with me live before I post my artwork on YouTube, feel free to follow me on my other social media accounts that I'm going to link down below in the description and at the end of this video. As always guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Please feel free to check out some of my other concept art videos that may seem interesting to you. And as always, this is TJ from Clifford Studio. Take care.